Very interesting about the talent, the way you looked at it, Srikanth. I never thought that could be a way to look at it, but very interesting perspective. So today you are present in how many countries, and can you give us a perspective of the scale that you have reached?
Okay. So we have physical presence in offices in probably about 7 markets, primarily in Asia Pacific and in the US in a small way, and Africa, Middle East Africa. So APAC, Middle East Africa, about 7 to 8 markets we have physical offices. Then we cover the rest of the markets remotely with 2 hubs, with Kuala Lumpur as being a hub and Chennai being a hub for us out of India. So these are the 2 resource pools where we do have both sales, marketing, and engineering and technical support, customer support people located in these 2 markets. Um, so we are about 130, 140 people now, and it's still a very hub and spoke model that all my presence in these markets are small, 3 to 5 market related teams, and the rest of it get covered. And obviously, building my first business in 2000 to now, there's a massive difference that you have access to things like Zoho and many tools that we didn't have access to in 2000. So the way you build businesses now is that you get the best tools out there, and all you need to do is to focus on getting the right people and putting the right processes in place. At least tools are no longer a problem. So we are all connected extensively. Everything is online, and the 2 years of COVID helped us to, even smoothen it. But I think building a business has become a lot simpler now compared to my first experience.
Fantastic. And from a platform perspective, what's the scale of assets that you hold there? What's the kind of data that you process there? So can you give me a scale of how you have achieved the scale that you're talking about? Because you're a one of a kind company in the world.
Right. So when we talk about our number of assets on the platform, I would say probably we have close to, I would say about close to 500,000 assets that are tagged onto the platform, for which we do the data processing. I don't know what, but we probably process few billion data points every day. So it's a massive, massive task. And many times I've shown that to people, including my close friends who are entrepreneurs, and they say they don't know how to process this. When I went to them for advice when I had problems, right? Because they don't see that kind of a scale. But we also look at a couple of other lead indicators which are important, which are what I call as a TMV and a PMV, which is how much of media do I have on the platform, and which is, if I, in an ideal situation, if I had a client who is willing to consume all the media on the platform in an automated way, what would be my revenues? So currently we are at about $350 million of media that we have aggregated, or not aggregated, but I would say tech enabled in a meaningful way for us to serve real time content into. So that becomes a substantial amount, which kind of led me to another thought, which is to say, how do we utilize this media? I mean, there are some case studies in MIT on how food wastage has been solved with some charitable causes. So I looked at this as media wastage because I have visibility to 300 million. I'm probably doing 10% of that. 90% of that I'm not able to find clients, which means 90% of that is expiring in a so we said, why don't we bring all of that together? And we just launched something called as Moving Hearts, which is to bring social causes. So any social cause can hit movinghearts.media and put up their content and put up their creative. I will match that with the location of their choice. Market by market, we are rolling it out on a non-guaranteed way where they will get exposure for free. So that's about 300 million worth of media. Then we also look at, because we work with agencies who use our platforms, we look at how much of media are we influencing because they are using our planning data sets, they're using our data, etc. And that's probably a couple of 100 million. So those are the data points in terms of how the business is built. Then we look at this 500,000, and we've got a strong enterprise SaaS business that we built during the COVID. where we go back to these publishers and say, how long are you going to be, tech resistant? You've got to adopt tech, not just for automation of sales, but even for content, for measurement, and so on. So we sell that as an enterprise SaaS with a few modules. That business has grown post-COVID in the last 2 years. Last year we grew at about 800 or 850%. So it's growing dramatically fast as an enterprise SaaS business. So that we look at it and say, if we have mapped 500,000 assets where we have relationships with them, and today out of that 500,000, perhaps only 5,000 assets are paying me $10 a month. What is my SaaS potential without having to talk to a new client? I just have to figure out how to convert this 500,000 guys into a $10 SaaS paying monthly, and that suddenly puts it in a different league for enterprise SaaS business as well. So many of this hard, what I would call as input metrics, or I would call them analog work that we have done in relationships and integration, are all laid out as pipes. Now we're doing the conversion process. We're laying new pipes as well, because we are not in Europe and US yet. But you would see a couple of press releases that come out over the course of the next week or so, where we would be announcing some US presence as well. So we're laying some pipes in new markets, and then we are looking at pipes laid and seeing how do we convert it faster.